Hello, everybody, and welcome back to more Black and Snerdy podcasts.
Are you ready to watch out now?
You know damn well I'm ready.
Watch out now.
This is Watch Out Now, where we discuss the media that we are consuming, watching, listening to, reading, all of the things, right? Or any of the things. Any of them, right?
Yeah, all the things.
All the things. Okay, I won't sing that song. But before we even get into that, we do have a bit of tangential news that's like related, right?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that is redundant to say it's tangential and it's related. God. My bad. I'm sorry. I'm learning on the fly as we go.
All right. So we're going to talk about another Marvel film. Yep. Or movie, whatever, project.
It's a show.
But the first thing was today I saw that Scarlett Johansson, aka the Asian Barbie, I can't help it. Each time I can't let her forget.
Fair enough.
She did it.
She did that shit.
She even the last time she was talking about I love making my success off of controversy, whatever bullshit.
Well, here's some more controversy you're gonna.
And this is why this shit is happening to you. Anyway,
yeah. Mm-hmm.
So she is suing Marvel, she's suing Disney, which is under Marvel.
Yes.
She went to a court and she said that Disney broke the agreement between her and Marvel when they released Black Widow on the streaming service Disney Plus and in theaters. Mm-hmm. It alleges that Johansson agreed that her salary for the film would be based in large in part on the film's box office haul. Mm-hmm. And her lawyer said to maximize these receipts and thereby protect her financial interests, Ms. Johansson extracted a promise from Marvel that the release of the picture would be a theatrical release. Mm-hmm. As Ms. Johansson, Disney, Marvel, and everyone else in Hollywood knows, a theatrical release is a release that is exclusive to movie theaters. Disney was well aware of the promise, but nonetheless directed Marvel to violate its pledge and instead release the picture on the Disney Plus streaming service the very same day it was released in movie theaters.
So if you're not paying attention, congratulations. There's gonna be no more Black Widow movies anymore. Scarlett Johansson done fucked it up for everybody. So you better get used to Captain Marvel and Miss Marvel. Everybody's gonna get one before her now. Storm.
Well, Disney responded on Thursday and said there is no merit whatsoever to this filing, and that the suit is especially sad and distressing in its callous disregard for the horrific and prolonged global effects of the COVID-19 pandemic. Disney has fully complied with Ms. Johansson's contract, and furthermore, the release of Black Widow on Disney Plus with Premier Access has significantly enhanced her ability to earn additional compensation on top of the $20 million she has received to date.
Okay, Miss Trunchbull, over here with this fucking accent.
I feel like a Disney executive right there. Yeah, but then they said to her, bitch, we paid you your money. And also, now that it's fucking streaming, you're going to get more. So calm the fuck down and collect your check. Sit down and eat your food.
Do you think that, because I thought this was, before you read the Disney reply, I thought this could go either one or two ways. And it went the way that the one way that I thought. I also thought that maybe they were just like, look at this dog barking at the moon here. How about here's a out of court settlement to go fuck off somewhere, because Disney has all of the fucking money to just give Scarlett some shoe fly don't bother me money. Yeah. So I don't know.
I mean, this is an interesting thing because I feel like on one hand, she does have a point, mm-hmm. and I think that is something we should be thinking of when we're thinking about how these big markets or big studios are releasing these movies to us. Yeah, because they did do it on the Disney Plus the Plus Extra whatever thing.
Yeah, Disney Plus.
Yeah, that you're supposed to pay extra for. I'm personally not paying to watch Black Widow in my house.
There is a reason that I am using someone else's Disney Plus account because I don't want to pay for it.
But the thing is, if you want me to watch this big blockbuster movie in my house and pay blockbuster prices? Now, I'm not saying if I was a parent and had 3 kids, yes, because $29 instead of paying like $100 at the movie theater. Even especially not if you have 3.
Oh yeah.
If you have 3 teenagers, because that's once you get out of the 12, and you are tall, you can't really, you are adult. That means you're paying at probably like almost $20 a person
$20
for a ticket.
And
not
then
to include popcorn and soda. Even if you get one and share, that's like $100. Bare minimum. So sure, for them, yes. For us who are single or don't have children or have babysitters, or to be able to go to the movie theater without children,
or us who have sense and are just like we could just easily not deal with any of that. I
literally just said all those.
I know. I'm agreeing with you. It's what agreement means, that's what agreement looks like.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Well,
not everything has to be combative. I sometimes I legit just agree with you.
I feel like
we're friends.
I feel like I'm not going to pay for that, and I think that them trying to charge for these movies, like when they try to charge, was it Mulan?
Yeah, they did that with Mulan, but they didn't do that with any of the Pixar stuff.
Yeah, which is good. I'm not paying for any of them. I'm good. If I'm not in the theater, I'm not paying for it.
Because I love Luca. There was no way that I was gonna pay for it.
No, I'm not paying for any of that. But it would set a weird precedent if you could do this now, because who knows if some people are gonna not pay for Disney Plus, but they'll go to the movie theater. I was not gonna pay for Disney Plus, but I will go for sure opening night and pay for a Marvel movie to go there and see it.
And don't get me wrong, there are some movies that are just more enhanced with being at the movie theater. But I don't think. And maybe Black Widow might be one of them, but there was no way I was ever going to take my black ass out there to run around in the COVID Delta streets just to go see this movie in theaters. So nope.
Her lawyer responded to Disney
that fucking drop
and said, "It's no secret that Disney is releasing films like Black Widow directly onto Disney Plus to increase subscribers and thereby boost the company's stock price, and that it's hiding behind COVID-19 as a pretext to do so."
Duh, Disney should just say duh. Why are you pretending like you don't know what the deal is? Act like you know the deal.
I think that it's on two sides. Yes, the Disney's trying to get her with the COVID and be like, we are caring about our subscribers. No, you don't. You just want the money. But this is, it does help people stay out of the movie theaters, which we do need.
Yeah.
So it's like they can't. There's going to have to be some kind of contract negotiations where it's like, yeah, I'm gonna get X, but with it's the streaming service, I need to get X, whatever royalties that are coming through that, because they are going to make a lot of money off of her.
Yeah.
And off of this movie. And if we start doing this, when you have bigger stars like Scarlett Johansson and Marvel, that's happening there, imagine all those movies where you don't have that kind of even pull in Hollywood, financial backing or anything to be able to afford these lawyers. So who knows? But
yeah, look at
we'll see what happens.
If anything, that just goes to show you that it doesn't matter how big of a star you are, execs will try to fuck you over.
Yeah.
These
hoes ain't
companies,
loyal.
yeah, these hoes. See, they make a movie starring you and still trying to get you with the okie doke. So hey, it be like that sometimes.
See, that's the ancestors are punishing you for playing Asian women.
And she did it twice. She did Asian
twice.
And something else.
No, I think they were all Asian. I know. Well,
Ghost
no,
in the Shell. And
that was that's a Japanese anime.
Yes.
Was she Hawaiian? She was Pacific Islander too. No,
that's
what's her face? Emma something.
Emma Stone.
Oh gosh, I like her
There's
too. And I'm
so many of them who did this.
I'm just like, come on, y'all, come on. And then you know what? This is
it was Scarlett Johansson who was about to play a trans individual.
I believe so. I think she might have been. Yeah, I think
she was going to. And then
but this is the thing that annoys me about white supremacy. Yes, drink. I was gonna get to it eventually.
And you got there very organically. I didn't even push you
because
there.
This is the thing. It should be very okay for any of us to play any role, right? I should be able to play a white woman, an Asian woman, whomever, whatever I want to be, I should even be able to play like a Kenyan woman and be no issue. But for the fact that white people have done so much bullshit when it comes to keeping us out of the industry, making all the racial and stereotypes and all that other bullshit, and
shoe polish and all the fucking
everything.
nonsense.
The fact that Mickey Rourke or Mickey Rooney, that I forgot
Mickey Rooney.
that that when I was a little girl and I saw Breakfast at Tiffany's, and for the longest time I knew it was like both. It was like a cognitive dissonance of both knowing he was in that movie and also taking me a really long time to realize, oh shit, he was the white man in that movie playing a Japanese man.
Am I crazy? Did he win an award for that?
I feel
or
like
some
he
shit
might
like
have.
That? Like,
And
ain't that some shit?
remember,
That's so fucked up.
what was that movie with the robots? With the robot, damn it.
Was it Robot Bicentennial Man? Like,
No, it was in maybe late 80s, early 90s, and the Indian guy who built the robot was the white guy.
Short Circuit.
Short Circuit.
Yes.
That was such
with
a good
Johnny
movie.
Five. Yeah.
Yes.
The
1 and 2.
There was a white dude who was playing
Playing the Indian guy.
Yes. When I found that out, that blew my fucking mind.
So if I remember just when we were taking, I don't know if you took multicultural media history with Clint Wilson at Howard.
No.
But it was like we were learning about all these. It was a lot. It was mostly focused on like black media, but it had some sprinklings of just people, blackface, yellowface, brownface throughout media, Hollywood history.
Right.
These are the reasons why we don't want you playing a part, even if you quote unquote the best person, because the fact that you have taken our shit, you co-opted it, you kept us out,
made
you
fun of us.
So you doing this shit type of shit of playing you're playing an Asian woman. Like, you are not anywhere near Asian. You don't have any Asian ancestry at all. You can't even look back at any point in your family's history and be like, "Ooh, boom, Asian." And you're gonna play this. This is why you're being screwed over right now. The ancestors are saying, "Good for you, darling." This is what happens when you do fuck shit.
I'm sorry. I just saw the text message about Fred Durst. So sorry about that. I'm paying attention.
But I'm just because you know what? I feel like Asian aunties and African aunties are very, very similar. So I can literally hear the jokes in my head. I'm not going to say them because I have a terrible African. I cannot make a Nigerian accent to save my life, so I couldn't even try.
And nor would I even. I'm not sure of the distinction. So it would not sound good.
Literally, like never.
See, and guess what? Look at that. Look, I had the sense about me to not do something. Like to have like 5 steps before I did it. Just be like, no, I'm not gonna do.
The only accents we do in jest are white ones.
Exactly. So whip out any Italian accent, an Australian
across
accent.
Across Europa, I'm making fun of it.
Yeah, bruv.
I don't care. And the only time I will, Spanish was my minor, so I attempt to have a Spanish accent, even though I'm still really bad at it. All that money has just gone in the toilet, but that we only mimic white ones. We do not mimic any other ones because we want to, our brethren in POC solidarity.
Crikey.
Moving on, though.
Moving on.
The thing we're actually going to talk about is...
Yet another drop. God damn it. Fanfare. Maurice, write this fucking down. Get a fanfare drop. Anyhow, but yeah.
Well...
Speaking of Disney.
I've just recently watched Loki.
Disney's Loki, the limited series on Disney Plus.
Yes.
Yes.
Do we need to give them the whole entire?
Dude,
I'm just curious.
Sometimes I wonder, like, is it okay for me to be professional or no?
But I'm just curious, like, why does it? It's like I'm saying it and then you're repeating the. I'm just curious if do we need to give them that, because if we do, maybe I'll remember.
Just for a little bit of clarity. There's nothing wrong with trying to be clear.
Just extra clarity. All right, fine.
Extra clarity. That's all.
You're super clear.
Yes. So we're watching Loki.
Maurice watched it already, but
Yes.
I had been holding off because I wanted all of it to come out. I'm sick of watching things week after week.
Right.
And
it's so barbaric and archaic.
Well, I'm like, I want to watch it when I want to watch it.
Yeah.
And also I was trying to wait for a time when I could like pay attention to it because one, I knew I was going to be like super sucked in.
Yeah.
And two, I didn't want to like get distracted. I couldn't watch it while I was working because I'm like, I'm not going to pay attention.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to be able to either pay attention to work and listen to this or listen to this and pay attention.
And
to
because of the nature of this show, it deals a lot with like time travel and timelines and stuff. This is definitely one of the types of series where like you need to pay attention to everything. I think at one point, like without like, well, all of this is going to be a spoiler. There was one point that like you like I guess blinked and you missed it because we were having a conversation. Quick. It happened real quick, but you missed something. So you need to like you have to be paying attention if you're going to be watching the show.
Now, do you want to you go first in describing? I guess we did episode 1 and 2.
Yes. So we did episode 1, Glorious Purpose. Episode 2, The Variant. You want me to just describe each? Like, essentially, the story goes in Endgame when the Avengers go back in time to the very first like Avengers like battle. It follows the Loki who got away with the Tesseract, right? And this Loki is immediately picked up by the TVA, which is essentially our like time police who make sure that the sacred timeline there's multiverses that exist, and in order to prevent all out war and all out chaos and all out bullshit, they basically try to make sure that there's only one timeline that exists. It's the sacred timeline, and anything that happens that diverts from that timeline to create a different timeline has to be like eradicated or like taken into custody. So because this Loki with the Tesseract was not meant to exist, they take him into custody, and eventually like after a lot of convincing and after a lot of like realization, they start to bring him into the fold in order to help hunt down another version of Loki. So that's basically the premise of it, right? And
I had some questions for you. Well, not some. I feel like maybe more might come up as I'm talking about it, but okay.
Now, granted, you can go ahead and ask these questions if it's something that, since I've already seen the series, if it's something that I feel like
don't spoil it for me.
I'm not going to spoil anything. That's what I'm saying. Like,
if you feel like it's a spoiler,
no comment.
Don't
if it's a spoiler, then I'll say no comment.
Okay, but these are not more. These are more about the more about certain aspects of like themes from the show versus like asking questions about the show.
Okay, and also I do want to say that I am a fucking big ass sexy nerd for time and time travel and anything that has to do with like timelines and everything like that. So like this show is absolutely up my wheelhouse. You know?
Well, I love that because you'll be able to answer my questions.
Okay.
1, would you want to see your ending or any part of your life? Because just prerequisite and spoiler. While Loki gets arrested for messing up the timeline, he goes to the TVA and they're showing him, Owen Wilson is showing him his parts of his life or whatever, and how he sees his mother dying, and then he sees himself dying. Do you feel like you'd want to see the end of your life or any other parts of your life that it might be like significant?
I personally would like to see stuff from the past. I don't want to be like dwelling in the past in some sort of like weird fetishization of nostalgia, but I would just be like curious to see which parts of my past were significant enough to be recorded that led me to here, because I feel like that's essentially like, you can see all of everything that you've done, but there are certain moments that are more quintessential to who you are as a person, or like that led you down a specific path. And I would like to see those moments, but I would never like to see anything from like the future or even how I die, just because like, I don't know, like it's weird because in some shows, like I do like spoilers because like I don't believe the whole notion that spoilers ruin the viewing experience. I think that like sometimes spoilers can enhance that experience. For instance, I listened to this YouTube Wrestle Talk. They review like episodes of like wrestling shows like WWE Raw, Dynamite, and everything like that. And on Wednesdays, usually like I can't like watch it live, so on Thursdays I usually watch AEW Dynamite after I've watched the review. They review the entire thing segment by segment by segment, but it only makes me appreciate watching it more. For my own life, because I like am the ridiculous kind of goofball that I am, and I just feel like I'm just like going through the wind like a paper bag in the wind of destiny. I don't want to be spoiled at all about what's coming next, what's about to happen. I want to be able to like actually experience it like naturally. So that's a long roundabout way to say no thank you to seeing how I end up or where I end up being or even how I die. I don't want to know how that happened. I want it to all be a surprise.
I don't think I would want to know how I die.
But are there significant
But I
things in
don't.
the
I
future?
might feel like I wouldn't mind. It doesn't have to be something significant, but like if someone showed me like 15, like a minute worth of like my 45th birthday, you know, or like
Okay.
Christmas 2060, like what am I like a small snippet of that? I feel like that would be okay for me. But I don't want it to be anything that's going to be anything so significant that I would necessarily remember it through life. It's like, for instance, like I've told you that I've gone to psychics before.
Yeah.
And like, you know, I use tarot cards and stuff like that.
Actually, the second part you've told me, or at the very least I knew. I don't think I knew about the first part. So continue.
Okay. So, that doesn't always mean that you're learning something necessarily about the future or anything like that. When you see a psychic, it could be a myriad of information. Sometimes you're more often learning something about maybe the past that might be impacting you now. But I feel like those type of things I'm okay with knowing a little bit more into like what's the short term or things that are possibly could happen, because I feel like regardless of whether someone tells you X is going to happen, literally the moment you find out that thing could happen, it could totally change the trajectory of the thing happening. Like you literally don't know. It's a guidepost, you know. It's like when you talk about astrology, it's like, excuse me, I could do a birth chart and I could see where my placements are and all that stuff, and it could tell me these are the things that like you're really great at in this aspect of your life. But that this is kind of a guidepost. It could tell you you're really great at being, you know, a teacher, but perhaps it's just like you're good at like explaining things to people, and you like write explainer videos for websites or something like that. Like, like any of those things are possible. So I feel like if I were to see in my future, I would only want it to be just like a snippet of something interesting, but not necessarily super significant where it's like life changing, where I'm forever going to be thinking about like that day I win the lottery. Like that's not what I wouldn't want to have to dwell on those type of things.
But by the nature of it being the future, like wouldn't it like it's a peek into something that hasn't already happened, because you have that knowledge now. Like, wouldn't, by the nature of knowing something that for sure is going to happen, isn't that something that is significant enough to warrant thinking about it?
Well, I think
it's not like you're not talking about like, oh, your 60th, like you in your 60s on the toilet or brushing your teeth or something like that. You're talking about like a birthday.
The reason why I say something like a birthday party is like,
who's there?
It could be a birthday party, and I could be like, people are singing to me, and I could be staring at the cake. Like, it's a minute of this small something that like it could be my 60th birthday, and I'm sitting at my kitchen table, like reading a book and drinking coffee, and being like, oh, it's my birthday. Like something like those small 1-minute moments that are like, it's not me like getting married or jumping out of a plane or giving birth or something like that. It's like, these are slivers of life that I know that I'm going to have a 60th birthday. You know, I foresee myself living a long life. I know that I'm going to like celebrate Christmas or something in years to come. So I feel like if it's something that is mundane enough where I will throughout my life, perhaps I might see something that jogs my memory, but eventually, like, as time goes on, that doesn't mean that I'm going to definitely think about it all the time, because there's going to be so many other significant things that are happening. If I spoke to a psychic and they told me something was going to happen in 5 years or whatever, even if it might have been something like, oh, it's a special thing or maybe possibly a big deal, I might not even think about it until that moment happens and it jogs my memory of like, oh shit, someone did tell me this was going to, you know, like that. So I feel like that would be okay for me.
I guess. Although I would argue that because, like, again, if we're using the idea of what you just presented, the example of the 60th something, like something, a minute that's mundane that shows that you just something that happened like in your 60s, right? But by that nature, you now have the knowledge that you're going to be alive you're going to be alive at the very least until you're in your 60 or until you're 60. So then by that nature, like that kind of does color from now until 60, because you know you ain't dying anytime soon. You're going to be alive until, at the very least, when you're at the table looking through a magazine.
True. But then there's
60.
all those flavors that are going to, like, to me, like right now, I believe that I will live until I'm 60.
Okay.
I believe that, like, I can see that happening.
Believing and knowing are two different things.
Yes, true. But if I'm seeing a very small sliver of that minute and it's nothing significant, like, it's not like I'm looking into my partner's eyes or something like that. If I could be staring out of a window and people are singing to me and, like, I just know that this is something that's happening, I feel like that is less of a I'm going to be dwelling on this than if I'm looking out to the crowd and seeing, like, things that people are doing for me and who's there and who's not there. So I could be thinking, oh, this friend wasn't at the event. Why aren't they there? Are they gone? Are we not friends anymore? Like, that's something that's going to have you thinking.
Right.
Or personally have me thinking. Whereas I feel like that's something where it'll spend the time, like, it'll probably blink in and out of your brain every so often that, like, damn, I had this really crazy experience once, but it's not something that I would dwell on every day.
Okay.
All right.
That's
another question.
Yep. Next question.
Now, this is something I feel like you'll be able to answer for me, because I'm thinking about timelines and I don't remember if this is how this works, but is it better to go only into the future versus like, if we were going to choose, if you had a choice, or if they were saying, like, go into the future only, or should we just not go into the timelines at all? Because if I go into a future timeline, I know that I forgot the name of the theory where it's like all timelines are like a big donut or whatever, like a big circle, so they're always interlooping into each other.
Right.
But my thought is, if I go forward in time, they already would know there's time travel. So, or I guess if I only could go forward in time into a time where they know that there's time travel. So you're not, like, introducing anything, like you're not breaking the prime directive of that time and, like, throwing shit out of whack.
Okay.
So if you know that there's time travel, so I could come and be there, then I would just be able to spend time and see, versus, of course, going into the past, because you could fuck up what's going to be happening in people's lives and your life, et cetera, et cetera. But if you go into a future timeline, could that possibly mess up a past timeline, or is it just that you can mess up your own timeline? Because if I go to 2070 and I learn that whatever stock makes a lot of money and I put my name in it, like, I'm kind of changing my trajectory.
I think you just answered your own question. Like if fucking with anything to do with time will always, not always. There's a theory that no matter what you do, like, every action that you do and that you take creates an entirely different timeline.
Yeah.
So like even great that you're not going into the past and fucking shit up, right? But the future is the past to something, to somebody, right?
Mm-hmm.
So even going into the future, maybe you're not directly messing up your timeline per se, but you are like
messing somebody's up.
You're messing somebody's up. You're messing something up in some way. Even if like you would have to be like a extreme observer who's like not interacting with anything. But then at that point, what's the point of even going into the future at all?
You know what way I would want to go into the future?
Like Back to the Future style. When he took the almanac book and then went back to the present and made all those bets so that in the future he was rich.
That's not what I was going to say at all.
I was just more so speaking about answering the question that you were saying instead of like what you were about to say. But go on, continue.
Okay. I feel like a good way of going to the future is if in the future we could have some sort of time delegation of like time body swappers where you could like take a vacation with somebody in the past. They can see you, you can see them. Mm-hmm. And you could switch, but you stay in there. You switch their bodies, not their, like, so everyone's going to, you just switch their, like, their consciousness, not their body.
Okay, so you're swapping consciousness.
Yeah.
It's almost like a mental Airbnb.
Basically, yes.
Where you could go and you could like, hey, somebody wants to go back to 2021 during the Pandarosa. And you want to go into the future of 2062, right? Mm-hmm. Let's just say that you swap your minds, your consciousness and stuff so that you're each into each other's bodies. So, I guess that would be, but that's still kind of the same principle. Like, even if you're swapping consciousness, like, I guess the only difference is that it's not an extra body that shouldn't be in the future. You're still within that same body, but you're dictating different actions now. So you still, in theory, they could fuck up your future and you could fuck up whatever they were ultimately meant to do in their timeline. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
They would have to work out a bunch of logistics for like what you can and can't do within each other's bodies.
Future people, if you hear this in the archives of the digital world, I hope that somebody in your timeline has bookmarked future time travel, made like SEO, whatever y'all are calling it at that time.
Yeah, have y'all branded time travel?
So that you can have heard this. And I would really love if one of you could send me in this time frame a little note explaining if you ever get to the point where you can do this stuff without causing a bunch of things. We do not want any Nexus events to happen.
You know what's funny? I just looked through my book because, like, just
to see,
just in the off chance that like a note has been left in there.
If a fucking note
that would be so cool.
Was left in there, I would legitimately cry, and I would be so excited. I have been waiting for some Harry Potter shit to happen to me my whole entire fucking life. And if today was the day, I would be so happy.
That would be so cool because like we're asking for it, we're putting that out into the universe,
and then because it's the two of us,
and in the podcast space, yeah,
we are gonna be like, one, we'll be able to keep the secret.
I mean, we're recording on a podcast, but somehow we're able to keep a secret.
Yes, we'll be able to because this is the thing. We recorded it. Doesn't mean that we're
gonna say it on the podcast.
Yeah, maybe by the time we edit it, it's a little different, but they're still able to hear our previous whatever. They're able to like retrieve all the deleted files. Who the fuck knows? It's the future. They have lots of technology we don't have.
Maurice, remind yourself to edit out any mention of the reality that time travel exists.
But if they hear it and then they gave us a little note, we could be the only two to know this thing, and then we could write. Ooh, now this is how we could write our own version of Stargate.
I literally am looking.
I just
through
want them
this
to
thing.
listen. If now I'm just gonna say if one of y'all don't pop up on me in the night and try to say hello to me in that time. No, we don't do that type of bullshit.
Yeah, we don't. No,
We
no,
do
nothing creepy.
nothing
Let's not
creepy.
do any creepy time travel stuff. Like you go back in time, but like in order to not mess with anything, you just stare. You stare at somebody
Don't fucking
sleeping.
stare at me in my sleep.
Oh,
Because
boy.
I will be pissed the fuck off if I wake up and I'm looking.
You
at,
are a relative. I don't know. Like so.
I'm not. I don't. No, I don't want anyone fucking. I don't want to be awakened. Awakened. I don't want it.
I agree with you. I also don't want to be awakened. You have any other questions?
No, those were my questions.
Okay.
But I do really like the show so far. It's making me think about lots of sciencey stuff, which I always love.
Did you have any highlights from the 2 episodes that we watched?
I fucking love the fact that my boo thing. Hold on, let me tell you what her name is. My British boo thing, Unmi Mosaku, is in here. I love her. Oh shit. Okay. When we find out that Loki is a woman.
The variant Loki is
Variant
a woman,
Loki is a woman.
Yeah.
I fucking loved that.
I legitimately felt like I had to not double back, because like I almost spoiled it, but luckily like you didn't catch it when you were like, hey, what happened to this thing? And I was just like, yeah, she touched the head. I mean, like that's what happened, like touched her head. And like, you know what I mean?
Didn't hear that.
Good.
Because I literally didn't know. When you were pointing at your head, I didn't know what that was. I was just like, okay, he's trying to tell me something, but I didn't know what it was. So
nope, touch the side of the head.
Yeah, I didn't notice that. That was dope. I want to know whatever she did to girl that was all weird on the floor and traumatized. I feel very bad for her. At first I thought that was Wound Me on the floor, and I was like, oh shit, not Wound Me.
No.
So just to be clear, the guy that we saw in the first episode, the
He
the
was
tall
one of the time cops.
yeah he's
one of
dead.
them. Yeah, he's dead. He was at the end of the first episode.
Yeah.
He was on that mission and he got
For
killed by
some
the
reason, when we first watched that, I thought they were talking to us about showing us like previous times. They had gotten the variant, and that wasn't like. So I was like, wait,
No, that was
because then also because of the fact that he when he was like, oh, smells like oil, and I was just like,
to set the fire.
why would you not want to spread out and look for the person? Just because it was some time thing, you should have spread out and found them, and you would have been alive.
Well, I mean, time cops are still cops. And
This
cops can be
is true.
mad incompetent.
This
So there we go.
is 100% true.
Cops is just a job, and
Regardless
anybody can be
of
incompetent at their job. Okay.
What their time frame or timeline, and it is true. It is true. Also, I'm very interested to find out what happens about these Time Lords, the Lizard Kings, whatever they are.
Timekeepers. They're
Timekeepers.
yeah.
Thank you. It definitely is giving me very like this is a religion type of vibe.
The all hail the sacred timeline type thing.
Yeah. And like it's very interesting how it's like this is made for me. But one thing that I thought was very interesting that I really appreciated with this very super timeline is the fact that everything is not automated.
You mean like it's not like a bunch of robots doing beeps and boops? It's just a bunch of
just
people?
like they have paper. They have books. Things are printed out. That's what the fuck I like. No
matter in what timeline, no matter what the timeline is, they're still killing trees and fucking taking paper.
You know how I feel
about matrix printers.
Constantly having everything being technological, and it just really made me very happy to know, even though these are Time Lords, that they were still able to make good decisions when it came to having hard copies of things and not having everything in the fucking computer.
Timekeepers. I gotta keep telling you that.
What did I call them?
Time Lords are Doctor Who. Okay.
Oh god, there's so many names I have to remember, and my brain is just so much.
Well, I'll be.
And a lot of the times I note things in my brain as like under a certain category, and I'm just gonna have to keep watching the show.
You really do until Timekeeper
is like
sticks
to me.
And you know what? You don't have to worry about anybody on this show using the term Time Lords to confuse you, because I have no problem with admitting I will not be talking about anything that has to do with Doctor Who. My Doctor Who days are over. I got sucked into that fucking timey-wimey wormhole once, and then once I looked around, it was like, this is, I don't know, like, I think I might be too old for Doctor Who, and then I got out of there.
I'm about to dip my hands into some Doctor Who. So.
Oh God, sorry, Peter Capaldi, you couldn't keep my attention.
But yeah, that's all I had for Loki. I really liked it. It was a really good 2 episodes. I feel like the whole premise is very interesting, and I like the characters that are on here. So yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how I only have 4 more episodes, which makes me sad, because I'm like, damn, it's a good show. I need more than 6. You know, you guys you need to crank out some more.
Yeah. But, I mean, look, man, I'm looking forward to watching more with you.
Yes. Great.
It should be fun. And, yeah, until then, we will be, this is the Watch Out Now. So we'll see y'all. Take it easy.
Bye.
Thanks for listening to the show. If you'd like to contact the podcast, you can reach us via email at blackandsnerdypodcast@gmail.com. You can also find us on Instagram and TikTok at Black and Snerdy Podcast, as well as on Twitter at Black and Snerdy. You can find me, Maurice, on all social media under the handle Licorice is Legit. That's LICORISH is legit.
And you can find me on Instagram. It's that's OD. THATSOD.E, and on Twitter, THATSOD_E. And don't forget to like, rate, and subscribe to us. Tune in next time to the Black and Snerdy Podcast, where nerds of a feather flock together.
Remember?
Bye.
Boy.
Not yet.
No, this is keeping it. We're keeping this in. Don't forget to take your meds and your subs and drink water. Bye.
Bye.
I actually want to keep that.